I'm just reminding you.
Great. Okay, something's going crazy with my Zoom now. Does everybody else have crazy Zoom stuff?
No,
You're
No.
fine.
Okay. Well,
Well,
I have known Anne.
Speed lady's better now.
Okay. Well, I would love to introduce Anne. Anne and I have known each other. Here's Anne. Anne and I have known each other for years through Bead and Button, and she is an accomplished metalsmith and a fabulous artist. And I've only recently found out that she and I actually have a very similar background in theater design. And so I am so pleased to be able to have her speak to you about her work and about social media and the overwhelming quantity of it that we have bombarding ourselves with online stuff today. So I guess with no further ado, let's turn it on over to her.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. It's nice to sort of see everybody as you come flipping in and out of your Zoom world here. I am going to start my little share screen there. There's that. Okay. Can everybody see what I've got going on here?
Absolutely.
All right, awesome.
Got it.
So y'all can read that, and I'm gonna just chat for a little bit about how this talk started and how it's evolved. I've been giving a version of this talk for a few years, and I found it really poignant and really important to update it and to shift it, especially with the advent of 2020 and COVID. So this is what Hannah was talking about. I've been doing this for a while. And it's, I am very lucky. I am somebody who can honestly say I have had 2 successful careers, and I am blessed with that and very grateful for it. So, y'all can read that later if you want to. So, just to clarify myself, I identify myself first as a technician, an instructor, and then a designer. For me, solving the mechanics of a design is super important. And then once I sit there and I figure everything out, then I like to share it. And then I like to, after I figure all this stuff out, I like to try to stick it into something, and hopefully it looks good. So that's the basis of how I describe myself. So what to consider today in our digital world, when you look around and you acknowledge that for almost 40 years, we live in a I must have it now world of instant gratification. Information, ideas, and solutions are at our fingertips. All that is required is an internet search, and everything is at our digital disposal. Every one of us, I believe you and I do, have all gotten our master's degree in research from Google University. Whenever our animal is sick, I re-up my Google veterinary degree. It's everything is there. So what does this mean for us? How do we combat this cycle that we're faced with, maintain our individual creativity, our creative spirit, and trying to fight all of this visual external stimulus? We are deluged 24/7 access, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, plus an unrelenting 24-hour news cycle. In the face of these odds, how can we be sure that what we are creating is keeping true to ourselves, our inner voice, and still feel the freedom of the creative noise that's in our head? So welcome. defining your creative voice in a noisy world, and managing social media's influences. Your creative voice. For me, it comes down to basically 4 topics. It is keeping focus while you're working, organizing and keeping track of your designs and ideas, incorporating current technology, and taking classroom techniques and making them your own. D is essential in my point of view. Keeping the focus while you're working. A, turning down the noise and avoiding external distractions. Focusing on one project at a time. That's crazy hard. The previous one is just a suggestion. And it's less is more, keeping it simple and realizing that life truly is a balancing act. It is not easy, and it has gotten harder over these past 3 years, without a doubt. Turning down the noise and avoiding external distractions. Keeping the distractions to a minimum and focusing on what's in front of you. When COVID hit, my studio was in a bedroom in the house, and literally within 18 months, no, literally within like 3 or 4 weeks, I literally watched 18 months worth of contracts walk out the door. And so I went, okay, I'll teach live. And so I started teaching on Zoom, and I was teaching in this bedroom in my house. And this bedroom in my house was insane, because anytime anybody walks by the front door, my dog goes nuts. And so then it's like, I built my studio out here, which is a tough shed, and I have it here, and it is quiet, it is nice, and I have my contained world where I can focus and I can do my job. I do have a really large TV over here in the corner, but I don't have live TV on. It's all streaming, and it's usually movies. And so when I say I watch TV, it means I'm listening to a movie that I have seen 100 times. The movie's playing in the back of my head, and I'm working away, and I can look up and go, okay, good scene. I can watch the television for 5 seconds, and then I can go back to my work, because I know the visual is playing in the back of my head. If there is music on, it's down to a dull roar. It tends to be a 90s mix, because again, I know the words and I don't have to think about it, and I can sing to the lyrics, and I've memorized them all. I cannot do books on tape. Some people can, I can't. It's too distracting. I would just sit there. I can't do like podcasts or anything like that either. It's just, I get lost, and then I forget where I am, and then I have to redo the podcast. It gets crazy for me. So I keep it simple. I focus on, like I said, I focus on one project at a time. I try to set a good list for my priorities, and I try to stick to it. And one thing that makes me feel really good is getting all the easy stuff out of the way first. Then at least I can feel accomplished, and then I can check things off. It's an amazing feeling of accomplishment to be able to check something off. Get the easiest stuff done first, and then when you can get to that hard thing, it won't seem quite so daunting. And try to finish something before you go on to the next thing. Now, for seed beaters, it's an impossibility. There's like, y'all are doing like 50 things at once. It's nuts. You people are crazy. All these little tiny things. I would be lost. I admire the work immensely, but it is not for the faint of heart in any way, shape, or form. What I do try to do is, if I'm working and I get a notion or something pops into my head that I want to think about, I always have a notepad and a pen right next to me. And so I'll do a quick thing. I'll jot it down. I'll do a quick sketch, and then I'll get back to what I'm working on. A through D are suggestions. Every rule is meant to be broken. And everything is about laughter. Everything is about having fun. And if you can't, if I literally just broke a really beautiful cabochon. I dropped it on the floor and it just shattered. And it's like, you just sit there and like, okay, wow, guess that project's out the door. It's not the end of the world. Everything is about laughter, and everything is about grasping the humor in life and grasping the humor in everyday things. I mean, just the sheer fact that I can laugh at my dogs every day makes the world a happy place. And I just firmly believe that creating a sense of humor and having a sense of humor is essential to being creative. I keep things around me that make me laugh and make me smile. I have toys all over the shelves in my classroom, in my studio here. Joanne gave me this nightlight, this Godzilla nightlight, like almost 25 years ago. And it's still in my studio. And I turn it on at night when I leave my studio, so my studio glows red. And, it makes me happy that I have it. And it is the best way to relieve stress, period, end of subject. You can't take yourself or anything that we're doing too seriously. It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. And I guarantee you nobody's gonna die by doing what we're doing. So it's that's the fun part of what we do and being creative and getting that spirit bubbling up in you is just, it's joyous. Keep it simple. Life is a balancing act. Set your priorities. It is a matter of making sure that you're not losing too much of yourself and setting aside time for what makes you truly happy. It's the starting in 2020, it was a big eye-opener. I think the biggest thing I figured out is that my network of family is spread all over the country. It would be Milwaukee is I get to see this group of people. Florida is I get to see this group of people. California is I get to see this group of people. Texas is I get to see this group of people. And they're all my friends and they're all my family. And finding a way to keep in touch with them during these times when I'm not traveling as much has been a struggle, and is setting those priorities and making sure that I reach out to my extended family. And I figured out that you never let what you do solely define who you are. You are many layers and many components make you who you are. And finding that balancing act so you can be creative and you're not letting other portions of your life overwhelm you and take over and drown out what's here. Letting the news overwhelm you, letting social media overwhelm you and learning to turn those things off is really important, and finding and defining that space. And your creativity is an extension of your life. I know I am not as happy when I'm not making stuff and when I'm not creating things. And I try to spend at least 4 hours a day in the studio doing stuff. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And D, look at the world around you. Every day I walk my dogs. Every morning we vary our walks every now and then, but we pretty much have a set routine. I know all my neighbors. I know all my neighbors' dogs. We live in a fabulous neighborhood. I get to see the mountain every morning, and I get to see the sunrise, and I get to see the sunset. And I have an app on my phone called Sky Guide. And whenever the International Space Station flies over, it gives me like an 8-minute warning, and I run outside if the sky is clear and I follow it across the sky. Nothing gives me so much joy as knowing that there are human beings racing around the earth at over 17,000 miles an hour in a little capsule, spinning around, and they're not throwing up doing it either. I think that's fabulous. But it brings me joy watching that thing cross the sky. It's gorgeous, it's wonderful, and it's the technology that we have that there. And so I wave to them whenever they pass over. It makes me happy. And it's those things and setting those priorities. And I will stop, and like right now, if it was dark and the International Space Station was flying over, I would have a really hard time continuing talking right now. I might have to leave, but no, I won't. And it's still light out, so you're safe. So it's those things, those small little things make doing this fun and enjoyable. Hold on here, where'd it go? There you go. Organizing and keeping track of your design ideas. I keep an idea book. I keep a sketchbook. I have a small one that I pretty much, whenever I'm out and about, is in my back pocket, and it has a tiny little pencil in it. I have a big sketchbook here in my studio. I lied. It's inside right now because I was working on something last night. I have really nice pens. I have a really nice fountain pen that I use, and I use colored pencils. That's really good. I use my iPad and a drawing app on my iPad a lot. Your smartphone can be your best friend. It really can. Oh, wow, it's full moon tonight and it rises in 5 minutes over the mountain. That'll be fabulous. Sky Guide. So it's those things that I know. It's like, yay, it's going to be a full moon tonight. It's going to be beautiful. But I have my iPad and I use that as my sketchbook, and I gather those images that make me happy. Now, here's the catch to that. This is a collection of inspiration, not a collection of other people's designs and creations. And this is a fine line that we're going to talk about a little bit more later. That is the hardest part of everything that's around us right now and all the noise that's around us right now. Using your smartphone or your tablet is intelligent. I have files in my photos of inspiration, of particular textures, of patterns. If there's something that I see a individual's piece of work, I don't take a picture of the whole piece of work. I take a picture of what caught my eye. It could be a pattern. It could be a way something is folded. It's not the whole piece. It's what caught my eye about it. And so I'll take a picture of it. I'll crop it down. I'll crop it down really small so that little section gets bigger. Then I put that into an inspiration folder in my phone so I can flip through that. And organizing those images. I am an Apple person. I have my phone, I have my iPod, I have my tablet, I have my desktop, I have my laptop, I have my pencil, I have my earbuds, I have my watch. It's horrible. I am an Apple geek, and I have them all talking to each other. So if I take a picture, that filters down into all my other devices. So I have it, and those folders filter down into all my other devices. So I can use that piece of technology at my beck and call. So I can pull something up even if my phone is charging. I can go over to my laptop, I can go over to my iPad, I can pull something up and out of the cloud and get it to where I can work on it. Facebook is an amazing tool. It has its pluses and minuses. There are many good things about Facebook, and there are many bad things about Facebook. Finding friends that I had lost touch with in high school has been amazing. being able to stay in touch with people easily, watching what people are creating and seeing that has kept me more up to date with my close-knit family of friends than I ever dreamed possible. It's immediate, it's an interaction, and it is addictive. And it is a matter of not getting that dopamine, of recognizing that dopamine hit that you get when an email dings, or when a text dings, or when an Instagram dings, or whatever it is. It's that dopamine fix, and it's learning to ignore it and set it aside, and focus on what you're doing, and not getting overwhelmed by all of them. I have made a conscious decision. I am on Facebook and I am on Instagram. That's it. I don't do Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, none of it. I will look up things on YouTube, but there aren't enough hours in the day to do it all. It's impossible. And I get way too overwhelmed. And I looked at Twitter and I'm like, Snapchat, same thing. I can't do it. And so it's trying to lessen that noise in your head might mean cutting back on some of the things that are distracting you all the time. Technology is an amazingly useful tool, but don't let it be a shortcut. Don't let it stifle, because it can. And it is not a shortcut to ideas. So here's what I was talking about earlier about taking your classroom stuff and making things your own. Everyone here, I would imagine, considers themselves to be creative on some level. I do consider myself to be more of a technician and a teacher than I do, quote unquote, a designer. Or if I have 4, 5 good ideas in a year, I'm having a banner year. That's it. I'm having a fabulously banner year, and I can make a whole new series of classes out of that 4, 5, 6 ideas. But ask yourself, why are you taking the class? What attracted you to this class? And as that class is going forward, is there a new project in your head that's taking place? So the classroom and show system has created a very big conundrum for instructors, because there are 2 types of classes, in my opinion. There is the make and take. Here's your project. Here's what it is. You get to make this and you get to take it home. And then there's a process class where techniques are explored and you're guided in your own creations. I have tried very hard to marry those 2, where I literally try to throw the kitchen sink at you. And there's a fold form cuff that I do that's got riveting and fold forming and hinges and a tiny little bit of chain and S hooks and forging and all this other stuff. And it's literally, here's the kitchen sink, and we're going to start today. And when you leave class, you're going to have this. There you go. And that is the design class. And then I had to learn how to totally reteach via a video and not being hands-on. So and utilizing the technology around me to be able to still be a good teacher and a good instructor. So that was my greatest leap in 2020, 2021. So here's something to ask yourself. In the classes that you're taking, are you going to be able to leave with the technique that you can utilize in your own work? Or are you leaving with are you actually leaving with a pre-designed project in your head? as one who is creative, ask yourself a very simple question. Why do I want to take this class? And what do I want to experience? And that topic has been very challenging for me. And like I said, I try to design classes where various techniques are discussed, talked about, experienced, and incorporated into a final project. So coronavirus took its toll and it sucked. And we're now in March of 2023, and do not even think that it's not still part of your life, because it is. So what's next? How are you going to keep moving forward? How do you maintain your focus? And people are still fighting isolation and loneliness, and how are you combating that? People are still doing hybrid work. People are still doing Zoom classes. People are still somewhat fearful of being in public. Some people are and aren't. This last year in Tucson was the first year I taught without a mask in 2.5 years. That was freeing, very freeing. But looking at what we have been through, here are some of the things that I have taken away from my world in the past couple of years, and talking about how and thinking about where I need to make these delineations in my life of cutting down on social media and cutting back and being present in my personal life right now. And it's like getting up every morning and having my cup of coffee and being with my dogs, taking those moments, cleaning out the spam in my email, drinking my water, drinking my coffee, spending those few moments just meditating. I will clean up one thing when I'm done with it. I go through my house, and it's like one space gets cleaned every day. And luckily there are 7 spaces in my house. So I'm really lucky with that. I don't have to lose a day. But it's just, I clean up one thing. I make sure that, and that goes back to making that list, getting that one thing done every day makes you feel better about it. Our house is kind of a jungle. A lot of plants, lots of animals. If you come to my house, you must love cats, must love dogs, must love floating fur. But tend to that thing in your life, tend to something growing, tend to something that's alive. It also can mean tending to yourself. Be mindful of everything that's around you and everything that is in your life and around your life. It can be a song, it can be something sensory, it can be tactile, it can be visual. Going outside every day and walking my dogs is my 90 minutes of exercise every day. I get up in the morning, I drink my coffee, I get dressed, I play with my dogs for a few minutes, we harness up, I take the big guy out for a little walk, and then I take the little guy out for a walk. Luckily, he's slower. I can, chill out a little bit. But getting outside and being out in the fresh air, and that does get my 30 minutes of exercise in every day. Yay. And then some. And doing that one thing, whatever it is, will make you amazingly happy and amazingly fulfilled. And above all, it truly goes back to remembering to laugh. I will say it 100 times. The main source of laughter in my house are my dogs. They are hysterical. I can't imagine, not having their silliness in my world. So this is what I did, starting in late 2020, early 2021, yeah, mid 2020, I redesigned my website. I built my studio. All of those little metal toys, I spent hours. That was a focus for me because I was so overwhelmed by everything. It was crazy. So I still have a lot of them left to do. And that little picture in the corner, there is this amazing the beautiful thing about Albuquerque, backtrack, is every neighborhood has a park. You are never more than 10 blocks away from a green space and a park. And there's this lovely older couple that at all of the dog bag dispensing stations, they have hooked up a plastic cup and they keep refilling it with street chalk. And all over our neighborhood, all around our park, on the sidewalks is all of this art and all of these sayings and people making really pretty pictures. And this one guy most recently did like this, like really full block long, windy path where it's like, and it said spin 3 times and jump over here and jump on the X and follow this pattern. And the best part is seeing people do it. And so my little neighbor made that really fabulous little blob. And I just think it's wonderful. The other things I do is I hike. I get outside, I enjoy nature. My favorite place in the world is Glacier National Park and Yellowstone National Park. The Lalouse Trail is a really steep trail up here, up to the top of the Sandia Mountain here in New Mexico. Sunrises, they're glorious. The colors, everything. I mean, it's like seed beaters, who I'm seeing a lot of you are here. It has to be just seeing that wall of color in front of you when you go to pick something out. A, daunting, B, amazing. Daunting is what would stick with me more than anything else. But picking out color palettes like that has to be amazingly fun. It reminds me a lot of quilting, in all honesty. The comparison of picking and choosing colors and patterns, and I equate that kind of like with big sunrises and sunsets. The sunsets, finding, if you're in the ocean, just praying that someday you see that green flash. That's a goal. It's a bucket list. Yay, that would be fabulous. Get me in a rare wood shop or the really small hand tool section of a hardware store. I'm in heaven. There's an exotic wood store here, and I'll just go and I go and look at everything that it's constantly changing. And the grains of wood are it's amazing. Looking at the rings and trees and long grain stuff, it's stunning, and trying to find ways to incorporate that into what I do. Yellowstone thermal features are fascinating. Oh my Lord, they're just so incredibly cool. The colors are insane, and it's bubbling and it's hot and it's smelly and it's very cool. And I'll do precious stones. So I'll put that up there against anything. Gary Wilson gets way too much of my money every week. He needs to stop putting stuff out there for sale, because I'm not making any money. I'm just buying stuff all the time from him. It's crazy. And one of my favorite things is manhole cover art. They're funny. The really old ones like Cosmocrete, that's fabulous. Do a search for Japanese manhole cover art if you want to see something spectacular. They're like pictures of swans and like enamel. They're gorgeous. You'll be blown away. Japanese manhole cover art, I promise. Gears are also anything rusty makes me really happy. Rusty gears, very, very cool. Part of my heart. The galaxy, there you go. The moon's coming up over the mountain. and I'll run out and see it soon. And right now the James Webb Telescope is crazy. Everything, and the beautiful thing about this is that you personally own all these images. Taxpayer dollars have paid for all of this. You own these images. These are free to you. You can do anything you want with these images. You can publish them. They are the United States citizens' personal property. And I think that James Webb Telescope thing is crazy cool, that all of those things unfolded like they were supposed to unfold, and it's out there in space going 1,000,000 miles away from us. It blows my mind. I just had to go to the post office today and I bought a sheet of James Webb Telescope postage stamps because that was the best things they had. So kind of diverging a little bit, these are some of the artists that have inspired me with their creativity, their uniqueness, their individuality, and I think these are people that exemplify individual creative people who have they block out all that noise. And some of their work I find amazing. Some of the images are a little older, some of them are a little newer, but these are still people that I truly admire. Bronwyn Heilman, a glasswork artist from Tucson. I mean, her work is totally and absolutely and uniquely her. If you could hold up something and I would say that's Bronwyn Heilman. Kathy Leibarger is not doing a lot of beadwork lately, but she is one of the funniest beadworkers I know. She made these little pill beads, and when you got them in a little pill bottle. She got a gross of pill bottles, and that's how she would package her beads, which I thought was brilliant. Eleanor McNish is an Albuquerque artist that uses found art, and she's also a glass worker. A totally unique individual and truly honest and with her own creative voice, and very true to it at all times. Crazy color combinations that I can't even imagine working together, and yet they do. Good for her. I'm sure many of you know Gail Crosman Moore. Just a master at everything she puts her hands on. She is a felter, a borosilicate artist, a metal worker, a seed beater. I mean, it's like, and she is one of the true, in my opinion, as an American boro artist, I think she's one of the best borosilicate bead makers in this country. She's incredible, and her work is, God, unbelievable. I would like to be in her. I would like to hear her head for like 5 minutes. I think it would be astounding. Hybe, who, dear Lord, he's like crocheting stuff for trees in San Francisco. It's nuts, but my God, is that man just such an amazing seed bead artist. And he does everything else. His knitting group is incredible. Kim Fields, glass worker. I remember Kim when she was making funny clown beads when she first started, and what she has turned into as a glass worker is incredible. Her work is stunning, and she has taken the world around her and nature around her and transformed it into glass. Her work is beyond belief. Laura McCabe is crazy funny. Anybody that does this just makes me laugh all the time. Her stuff is fabulous. The eyeballs, no matter what, just make me laugh. I want a pair of those eyeball things in my studio someday. I have to ask her for that. So, a dear friend, Margaret Zinsser Hunt, does amazingly beautiful work, very unique. She's a botanist, or in her previous, she went to Otterbein in Ohio, and ants and moths and bees. That was her education, and she has turned it into her art, and the maze bead, you can actually do the maze. It's not, you can actually sit there and do the maze. It's pretty cool. It actually works. My friend Michelle Goldstein, Mish, just has an amazing sense of humor with everything that she does. Like a class that's a big plant thing coming to eat you, I think is fabulous. And it's just Mish. And I love it. And her felted pieces, she and Stephanie Sursich are dear friends, and they collaborate. They have been known to collaborate on some things, and I love their work immensely. And I love Stephanie's work. She should be on this list too. I'm that should change. Steph Corsage is a metal worker from many years ago. She is not doing metal work anymore, which is kind of sad. Her work was very influential on me with the industrial quality of it. Her work tends to be a little bit more, a little bit lighter than my work. My work tends to be a touch more industrial looking than hers, but there's a bit of industrial in her work. And I miss having her voice in our world anymore. I thought she was a brilliant and amazing metal worker. And dear God, somebody told Joy Munchauer, nobody told her that you shouldn't be allowed to do this with glass, but she does bas relief sculpture with glass. That's pretty fabulous. And amazing, the everything that she's going on. One day I will own a little hedgehog of hers. I swear to God, they're fabulous. Suzanne Gold, oh, that got moved. I'm sorry, that's weird. Suzanne Goldman is a New York woman who does oversized seed beads. And she will take a tiny little project and she'll work it out, and then she'll blow it up 50 times and use really big beads. And I don't know how that happened. I apologize. I will send a picture of this later. JC Harrell, nobody does stringer like JC Harrell. She's crazy. And I knew her when she used to live in Tucson, and where she started and where she's come from, and her evolution as a glass worker is, again, absolutely incredible. Terry Casberry Schmidt is my partner in crime. And that is how I started doing a lot of metal for glass, and how I started that. And her work is some of the most beautiful. I know I'm biased, but I truly believe that her work is truly amazing. And this is some of my recent stuff. I have been having fun actually working with some of the stuff that I got from Gary Wilson and doing some fun things and exploring more of the PMC. And the third piece in is actually a piece of moldavite. It's a meteorite. Very cool. Again, another meteorite, opal, broom casting. I've been busy. And this is some of my work with the glass pieces. Andrew Brown, that's one of his opal pieces. And Nady Biskin, that's his like infinity. The blue bead is Heather Trimlett. And that's Terry Casberry's bird bead. I love working and collaborating with glass artists. I really do. I have a really good time with it. And when you have it, remember it, don't sell it, save it, make another one. Everything about this project fell in place and it worked. I never had to change it. It'll never happen again. It's when you have that moment, just savor it. Like I had this idea of taking a piece of thin sheet, texturing it, forging it out, riveting a piece of PMC onto it, and then wrapping all of that in another piece of sheet. And it just so happened that it fit perfectly when I wrapped it around and I made the cup. I was like, when you have those moments and it all works out, there's just, you do a happy dance get yourself a cocktail, raise a glass, and just soak in that moment. It is precious and rare. And these are 3 of my newest pieces that I just recently finished. And to boot, I am teaching live classes in Albuquerque, in person, live classes, and I am ecstatic about that. I just finished my second one. It's a 4-day retreat where you bring your cabochons and start to finish, we design. This last class, I actually had 2 glass workers in it, and they brought some of their glass pieces and we were designing like crazy, and it was an amazingly fun time. And I have no idea how many metal workers you have in your little world, but what I have open for you all is an introduction to fine silver on the 15th and the 16th. It's a 3 hours on the 15th and then 3 hours on the 16th. First day will be chain making. Second day will be fine silver findings. So you'll get a nice little roundup. It's a 2-day thing. So, and then it would be 140 with materials. I can provide you with a tool rental kit. Everything you need in a little box, priority mail shipped to you all if you are interested. I max it at 8 participants, so I can pay attention for everybody. And there will be a morning session on the 15th from 10 to 1, and then the 16th 10 to 1, and then and then from 3 to 6. So each class is 2 days, 3 hours apiece. I hope I'm making myself clear. And it is a wonderful way to look at how I work in fine silver. It's just chain making on the first day, and then it is clasps, ear wires, like J hooks, S clasps, toggle bars, and 3 or 4 different kinds of ear wires. And so that is my offer to this amazing society. And I want to thank you for having me here tonight. And if anybody is interested, the best way to get in touch with me for that would be through my Ann Mitchell Metalworks page. You can message me through that, and I'll get out a sign up sheet for that. I am gonna stop the share now, I guess, and open it up to if anybody has any questions. Yes.
Hi, Ann. So the offer is via Zoom, right? That you're giving to the Upper Midwest Bead Society, right?
Yes. Zoom.
Okay.
Yes. So you get to stay home. You get to link up. I do a 2 or 3 camera shoot, depending. And it would be 3 hours for 2 days and a nice little introduction to what I do. And if you don't have the tool list, I can put a little package together and send it to you. And you can rent it. You don't get to keep it. You actually need it back. I have 9 new messages. Anything else? Kim Fields is from Michigan. Thank you.
You are welcome to unmute to ask questions, everyone.
Please. Nothing?
My gosh, I mean, you explain things so well. I mean, I'm very inspired by so much of your
I have a question.
thoughts.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, I know you addressed the fact that, we're all taking classes, we're taking workshops, and some of it's, make and take type things, or you're making a specific piece of jewelry or whatever. And then you're learning. I've taken metalsmithing. I have a spot too. I'm working on beads. I do art stuff, but right now I'm focusing a little bit on polymer clay. So I'm
Wow.
taking classes on technique, so you're learning from great people that are like, this is my process of how I do this, and this is my process of how I do that.
Perfect. That's great.
But, it's so, you want to, take what you learn and use it your way, but then there's that whole thing of, okay, how much of it has to be mine? And how much is theirs? Because
It is such a dance, and I know it's hard. It is so hard, and there's nothing easy about it. As a teacher, I will say that if I put it out there, it's out there, and I get it. My goal as an instructor is for you all to take it and go with it and do something else with it. A hinge is a hinge. Okay, a hinge is a hinge. There's only, it opens a door and it shuts a gate. It takes two pieces of jewelry so they can go like this. It's not rocket science. But I literally saw somebody post on Facebook, hey, here's my jewelry. I'm at this show this weekend. And I'm like, oh, wow, cool. And I zoomed in on the picture, and there were 3 class projects sitting on her table that I know she made in my class. No. Taking a hinge, making a hinge and doing something else with it, yes. But taking the project that you made in my class and then selling it as your work, no. It is a fine line, and it is hard, and it is not easy. I don't
because I always, when somebody, and I'm showing something I've done, whatever level I'm at, and I'm like, well, I always say, well, by the way, I learned this from this person, that person, and my resources are these books,
exactly.
whatever, because I want to cover, because everybody learns from somebody. It's not, and you don't want to, you want to take anybody's design, like you said, the class was a class, but you don't want somebody, you want to see your work that you actually designed it a certain way with a certain design on it, and then you see the same thing, like, oh, here's my 10 class, which you can buy without saying, yeah, but it's just kind of crazy though. It's really difficult.
It is so hard, and there is nothing easy about it. Excuse me, but as an instructor, if I see you making an attempt, yay. It's more for your own personal gratification. Not, it's
I don't even
about
sell my
your
stuff.
process.
This is the stuff I'm doing for myself.
Sure.
So
But
it's
it's,
like,
well, I get that. It's okay. I guess it could be a little bit different if it's, if it's something that you're going to sell or not, or if this is just specifically for your, excuse me, for your own gratification, go to town.
and I've seen people actually selling like seed bead jewelry at some place. And I'm like, and they'll say, this is my, this is my stuff. And it's like, no, that necklace is, I know who designed that necklace, and that's not yours.
It's
Yeah.
you can't win. And what you hope for is the ethics to you hope that somebody understands. It's a battle, it's a fight. I've been doing it for 30 years. And it's disconcerting when it happens, but I'm not, luckily I'm not, there are people out there that their entire life is like designing seed bead patterns and selling these patterns, and then someone comes in and swipes the pattern and then repackages it, and it doesn't even matter. I see it all the time. And it's hard, and I hate it, and it's disconcerting, and it's demoralizing, and it's it's a battle. All you can do is just keep soldiering on. And the way that I fight it is personally is literally turning stuff off and just being in my studio and banging on metal and finding ways to fight my own desire to be symmetrical. It's a constant battle. I want this and this to match. You know, it's been a battle my whole career. And I'm doing better at it, thank God. But it's, you know, there are tuning out extraneous noise and turning stuff off. And I was talking to a woman after a talk I gave, and we got on the it was the actual impetus for this talk. And we were talking about, she's like, well, how do you find time to do this? And I'm like, well, what are you spending your day on? And she went down the list of everything she was doing on social media. And I was just like, stop, please stop. I mean, you are wasting days of your life. I was living in Tucson. There was this really old website before Facebook. It was called Stumble Upon. And it would take you, you would put in things that you like, type it in, it would take you to all these pictures on all these websites and all these things. And literally you went down this rabbit hole, and I had my cup of coffee and I looked up and it was 4 hours. I never went back. I just turned it off. I'm like, I can never do this again, because it's like, oh my God, I wasted half of my day staring at pictures of cabins in the woods. There you go. And it's easy to do. Instagram, time suck. I love it. I find really fun things on it, and I get to follow my friends. But my God, when you start scrolling through stuff, an hour can disappear out of your entire day really, really easy. And telling yourself to turn stuff off at a certain time has changed how I sleep. No, nothing after 10 o'clock. I'm done. It's the computer's off. And you know, that's it. So is anybody, any other questions?
Yeah,
Well, Lenora would like to know if you have any more of your finished work in your studio right now that you can show us. We would like to see it. She also says she loves your outlook and the way that you consciously set priorities in your life.
Thank
And
you.
Lisa says, I love your passion about your art and life, Anne. Thank you for the very useful suggestions.
You are welcome. So this is a piece that I just finished. It was, I got three matching pieces of tourmaline in Tucson this year. And this person wanted to be able to interchange the chain. And so that was my dilemma. And there's my solution.
Oh, nice.
So you can, hold on, get that little U-shaped thing out there, and the chain just comes right off. And she can put some of her beaded work in there. And what I wanted to have happen was to make sure that it held the piece center and the chain wouldn't shift. So I just finished this yesterday. I have to get it out in the mail. That's tomorrow's project. It's on my list. It's A on my list of things to do. And an opal piece.
ooh, pretty.
And this has a lot of green fire in it. And so I set up a peridot with it. I have to finish the chain. And here is.
For that opal piece, before you go on, is that one cut open in the back so the light goes through? Oh,
No, it's a boulder opal.
oh, okay.
It's a boulder opal. So this is it. So normally I do have pieces that if they're translucent like that, I will open it up. But these two pieces are boulder opal.
Mhm.
Oh, they're fabulous.
Beautiful.
Pretty.
with a amethyst on the bottom. So these are my 3 most recent pieces that I've been screwing around with. I got to finish chains for those because I'm going
Your
to glass.
inspiration start.
Star Wars pieces?
I'm sorry.
I said, does your inspiration start with the stone then?
Yeah. Yep. I pick out things. Here. Can you switch cameras for me?
I absolutely can. Let me just, oh, there's where'd it go? Here we go. There we go.
That's what's next.
Oh, wow, that's pretty.
That's all the stuff. And there's the last piece of tourmaline that I'm gonna do something crazy with, and I have a sapphire and yeah, all sorts of fun things. Lots of meteorites that I'm gonna be working with. You can switch back now. Thank you. So yes, I do tend to use I pick out things that I like and then go from there and try like crazy not to be symmetrical unless it's totally warranted. Anything else?
Do you have any examples of the class that you would be teaching us, like the fine silver?
I tell you what I will do is I will put I will put a picture of I will send a picture of the findings, and I will send a picture of just the simple chain. It's going to be a bracelet that we're going to do. And I will have them post it on the website for you. How's that sound? Fair?
Perfect.
And what I will do is put a picture of it on my website too. Okie dokie.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
I really don't know much about the tools that you're using here, but I went to your tool page and I saw this little anvil.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was a blacksmith and he made a little anvil like that always sat on my mother's desk, and now I have it.
Nice.
But I wonder, what do you use that for?
Funny, you should ask. Would somebody like to see a demo?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, here we go. You can switch cameras again. Welcome to my studio.
Where's the other camera? Oh, there it is.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. We're going to be doing a little bit of a slightly awkward view of it today. There we go. All right. So what I am going to show you all today is my really cute little anvil. There you go.
That's adorable.
It's the best thing. It's the best thing since Wonder Bread. So, all right, I am going to make sure that you all can see what I'm doing here. Okay, hands are good. I am going to show you my secret for down and dirty matching French ear wires. How's that sound?
Can you enlarge that screen?
Pardon?
Can you enlarge that screen so it's big?
Well, I just featured it, so if you put
Oh.
it on speaker view, it should be better.
Okay,
Yeah, double click on it.
Is
Did
that
that do
better?
it? Did that do it for you? Okay, so this is the torch that I use. Everything that I make, I use this torch.
Oh, cool.
And so it's everything I do is kitchen tabletop techniques. And what I've taken right now is a piece 3 inches of 18 gauge fine silver wire. And I'm going to put it into a pair of tweezers. And I am going to take my torch, light my torch, and I am going to gently heat up the bottom of the wire. Then I am going to ball up the wire, quench that, do that one more time. There you go. So making your own head pins, amazingly cost effective instead of buying them. There's that. So then I'm going to take a pair of round nose pliers and I'm going to make 2 little loops, keeping this wire straight. So you now have the start of your ear wire, just like that, okay? Then comes the most secret of secrets, a Bic pen. Slide the 2 canes up the cap of the pen, hold the cap, bend it around the pen, slide it off, flip off your ends. You now have matching ear wires.
Cool.
So then, these are still dead soft. So then what you have to do is, I'm going to make the French ear wire part. I'm going to come in and using the flat side of my hammer, I'm going to harden the ear wire part. And I also want to work harden the stem right here. And then all I do is take a rawhide hammer, because that will work harden the material without changing or altering the outline of the metal. So that is a matching set of ear wires.
Cool.
There you are. And that's just you can switch back the camera, please.
Yep.
There you go. That's just the quick down and dirty introduction to, something simple that you can do to continually make something yours. I think the hardest thing is when I see somebody make a beautiful pendant and then using store-bought chain when you can make your own. And it can be totally handmade start to finish. You can make your own clasps, you can make your own ear wires, you can make your own focal pendant bases for it. I think having that as an option and opening up those possibilities, I think is really fun. So that's just me. Does anybody else have any questions? Nope.
How long did it take you to get to this wonderful place of balance?
I'm still working on it. I think in 2021, when I had to stop and I had to go take care of my mother, was the most eye-opening for me, because I came back home after 4 months and it literally took me another 3 months to open my studio door to want to work again. And I've always found peace working with metal and doing this. It's always been something that I've enjoyed. I enjoy it more now than I have in the over 20 years that I've been doing it. I have really rediscovered my love of teaching. I think it was an eye-opening experience. So.
Well, Anne, I really applaud you for limiting your online time sucking activities, because people kind of look at me strange sometimes when I say, no, I'm just on Facebook and really not all that much.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram because I need to be on Instagram. That's
Yeah.
the reason I'm on Instagram. It's another outreach, and I have, you know, and everybody's like, you actually have to be on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
And
Fine.
I've heard that too, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm not making the leap,
It's
but
actually,
I just,
it's actually fun. And if you have the Meta Facebook page thing,
Mm.
you can post on Facebook and it instantaneously posts to Instagram. So it's
oh,
kind of,
that would be good. That
Yeah.
would be good, because.
yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for making that point,
My pleasure. Yeah.
because that's how I feel too. And
My brain doesn't work that way. I just, I can't. It
And
just,
so, but how do you reach out to people? Because that's where, as a bead society, we're trying to find out the best way to communicate. And so far, we don't have an Instagram account yet for our bead society.
you can, I would, you have it as a professional page where it's in Meta.
We are, but someone has to teach me how to use it, is the problem.
It's pretty, you open up an Instagram account, it will automatically link.
Rochelle, let's make an appointment sometime soon, you and I'll show you how to use it.
It's actually fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
And
They
so-
married the two.
Because yeah, it's
like
hard
that
on the
easy.
computer, you know, so that's the problem, is how do you make it? And that's where, and would people follow it? Would you, as a bead society, would you like to get your information through Instagram? How would you like us to better communicate to you?
Well, use both. Use
find
both.
out.
Use both. I have 2,000 followers on my Facebook page, and I have 1,200 followers on my Instagram account.
Mhm.
So I'm constantly working for more, and the more I get out there, the more I can teach. So, and because that's what I like doing. So, but they are pretty seamless. When you post on the Meta, when you post on your Meta Facebook page, you can link Instagram immediately.
Well, I can do it from Instagram back
Facebook.
to Facebook, but I don't know how to do it from Instagram to from Facebook to Instagram, I guess.
It links it for you.
Yeah.
It links
Yeah,
it. So when you are making a Facebook post and you have your Facebook post and you have a picture assigned to it, it will automatically go to Instagram as long as you have the account and as long as the accounts are linked.
But you have to do it through the metaverse. You can't through your normal Facebook page, right?
No. I have my business account. I have my personal Facebook page, and then I have my business Meta thing.
So if anybody wants to be on the committee to help us with our social media, I'm taking more committee members because Hannah and I are basically doing all of it.
Done. They're done.
I'll teach you how to do it, Rochelle, next time you and I have some time.
Thank you. Yes, we all would love committee members. And so anybody else that wants to volunteer for committees for anything in the Upper Midwest Bead Society, the more you get involved, the more fun you'll have doing it all. And so we've got sponsorship committee, we have retreat committee, we have workshops, all sorts of fun things. And so the more you get involved, the funner it is. And so we're having a ball here. And we just thank you for joining us. Oh my gosh, and we have so many comments over
And
here.
what is your Instagram page? Is
And
it
Mitchell Metalworks.
Metalworks? Okay, I thought maybe.
My professional Facebook page is Ann Mitchell Metalworks. If you're just friends with me on Ann Mitchell Metalworks, it's different. It's classes and stuff. And that's also my Instagram account. And if anybody is interested in doing the class on the 15th and 16th of April, message me through my Facebook page, Ann Mitchell Metalworks. I'm gonna keep business all over there. But what I am gonna do is set up a sign up tomorrow. Anybody wants to do it, you can message me and I'll shoot you the sign up through my website. Okie doke?
Okay.
Is
All
it
right.
possible for you to do a later date? I'm gonna be traveling in Europe during that time frame.
I will more than likely offer it again
Okay.
because I'm nice. But right now, the first moment I have free is April 15th and 16th. So that's why I picked those dates. I want to thank you all very, very much. I'm going to go outside and look at the full moon. And see
Enjoy.
what-
Oh my gosh.
It's-
Thank
it's
you so
beautiful.
much for all the inspiration. We really absolutely loved it. It's
right.
magnificent. So
All
it's
right.
Us here in Minnesota, go out and look at the snowbanks.
exactly.
You can't
Well,
see
here in
the,
Florida,
you
I can
can't
tell
see
you
the
that
moon
most
because
of
you
my-
got too much snow.
Exactly. It's snowing right now.
Oh
So
my goodness. Be safe when you're driving home from the work thing there. All right. Y'all, thank you so much. You have a great night.